visitors with water guns, and anti-tourism protests in Mexico that turned violent. Similar ideas have been picking up in other European cities too, but tourism contributes a lot to economies around the world, and some countries are desperate for more visitors. So what's going on, and why is this backlash growing? It's not surprising Barcelona had major protests. 15 million people visited the city last year. That number is almost 10 times its population, and they were greeted by this. Tourists go home. It's not just crowded streets that bothers locals. More tourists means more demand for short-term rentals. Online short-term letting companies like Airbnb have taken over the market too, with people able to charge whatever they want without any regulation. And the housing that is left gets pricey. The cost of an average rental in Barcelona has doubled over the last decade. The average monthly rent there costs €1,500, and the average monthly income is also €1,500, so it's just not feasible. And having that many extra people puts a huge strain on local resources too. Simon went to Mallorca recently to see the impact.
So many people means so much more traffic on the road. It means problems with water. It means problems with power. It means problems with waste.
What do you mean by the water and power?
We go on holiday, we might want a shower in the morning, we want a shower in the evening, we want to drink water, so we want to use the toilet. Spain is a hot country, it regularly goes through droughts, so yes, there's pressures on the water table. We're buying things from the shop, that creates waste.
And then there's just the vibe of a place. If most of the houses near yours turn into an Airbnb, the area loses a sense of community. Local amenities turn into gift shops and local workers into tour guides. It is important to say though, there are lots of people in Spain and other countries who still really want to welcome tourists.
And that is a message that the ambassador to Spain's ambassador to the UK also wanted to reinforce, that the protests are a small minority. They do not represent the voice of the Spanish people.
And in many places, this hate for tourists just doesn't exist. Countries like Greenland, Morocco and Georgia are all crying out for more visitors. And despite France being the most visited country in the world, and a country famously not afraid to protest, it just hasn't seen the same backlash.
France is a much bigger country, and it's got a much wider spread of its pretty towns, its pretty cities. It's only really got the south coast of France, whereas Spain has got really tight core destinations that are literally having a surge of visitors flood in.
Many countries in Southeast Asia believe the more tourists, the merrier. In Thailand, the level of visitors peaked just before COVID, and people there are working hard to get that back. Over-tourism isn't even a debate.
The real debate is how the hell do we get them back? We need the money back. Vietnam, frankly, you'd be hard pushed to find a single Vietnamese who would put sustainability of tourism anywhere on their top 30 or 40 list of things to be worried about.
Sometimes it's even to the detriment of their own environment. Maya Bay in Thailand had so many people going up and down in boats that the coral got completely destroyed. But it was a rare occasion where officials chose to protect the land over making profit. They shut down the island completely for 3 years to let it recover. So back to the backlash. Why is this an issue now? What's behind this sudden tourist hate in areas which have welcomed them for decades? Well, firstly, more people can afford to travel now. And the COVID-19 pandemic meant that some people were just desperate to get away as soon as they could. But for others, the pandemic had a different impact.
For the first time, Spanish people saw their homes without tourists. They saw their beaches without tourists. They could go to local cafes and bars without being covered in tourists. And they started to react to the fact that, does this have to be like this all the time? Do we have to cope with this level of tourism?
So we really missed them and they didn't miss us at all.
No comment.
While most things are getting more expensive, flights are actually getting cheaper with budget airlines like EasyJet, Ryanair and Jet2. And then there's social media, which means tourists are concentrated in certain areas, all to get the same photo for their Insta dump. Like this iconic site in Japan where Mount Fuji is peeking out from behind a shop.
Well, if I didn't have social media, I wouldn't come here. I wouldn't even know that it existed, this place.
So many people were crowding the area, getting in the way of traffic and causing blockages to take the same photo that officials actually put up a screen to block the view. But Jonathan says this herd mentality when we're travelling isn't new, it's just speeding up.
We used to complain about the same bloody thing. Everyone went to the same place. Certain places come into fashion. Everyone has to go there. It gets ruined because everyone's there. Then somebody discovers something else, and it just happens much faster now.
So what can be done about it then? Venice brought in this €5 tourist tax for day trippers at the busiest times of the year, which it says has been a success. It's now increased the number of days that tax applies. Barcelona announced a total ban on all short-term holiday lets by 2029. And when Simon spoke to the Spanish ambassador, he said they're planning to build more homes for Spanish locals. But But it is a fine balance. Governments need to keep their residents happy without losing the income they get from tourism. So how can we be better tourists? If you still want to travel, this shouldn't put you off, but there are some ways to be less annoying.
This is a very difficult question, and I asked this to an MP in Mallorca last week. And we need to consider ourselves as tourists and the demands that we're putting on resources where we're going. So do we need to have 2 showers? What about the waste that you're creating? Do you really need to hire a car? Can you use local transport? Could you potentially have a longer holiday in the place where you live? Those short trips present acute pressure on destinations. They are the points that the MP in Mallorca said we need to be thinking of. Because in his words, and his words himself, he said sometimes we're starting to feel like strangers in our own home here.